This here is issue number 15 of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic by Boom Studios.
This issue kind of breaks off from the previous one as it reveals what happened to Zordon after the command center exploded. So we flash back to many issues ago with the command center blowing up, following Scorpiona's capture. This results in some kind of void being created and Zordon being hurled across time and space. Immediately we see Boom Studios' interpretation of Zordon here. He still has a body. In the TV show we mainly saw Zordon's head, although we did see him in full human form in the episode Power Ranger Punks through the use of adapted footage of Baza from the original Japanese series Zyurenja. And of course the Power Rangers movie did give Zordon a body when Ivan Ooze destroyed the command center, but that was a different universe from the TV series. So back to the story, Zordon here is caught between the two timelines so he can see all the events that took place in the alternate timeline with Lord Drakon. This is a bit like Terminator Genesis when Kyle Reese went back in time, armed with memories of the old and new timelines. Zordon sees his counterparts discussing with the Power Rangers in the command center as they wonder why Tommy returned to Rita after the Sword of Darkness was destroyed. This Zordon was confident that Tommy would see the light, but of course that didn't happen, and that's when Rita and Tommy started dominating. Tommy has clearly chosen the dark side of the two forces. This issue answers some questions I asked a few issues ago regarding where the other Zords and the Rangers' allies came from. Zordon did create the Thunder Zords to fight Rita and Tommy, and he sought help from the likes of the Blue Centurion, the Phantom Ranger, and Ninja. Interesting note here on Ninja, he appears to be in a Japanese-like garden, just like the Ninja Quest episodes in the TV series. And there's Japanese katakana saying Ninja Man, Ninja's Japanese counterpart in the source material Kakurenja. So that was a nice reference there. And it seems that Ninja helped create Saba, the Falcon Zord, and the Tiger Zord to aid in the fight against Rita and Tommy. But as we already know, none of that worked, and Tommy gained the White Ranger powers, defeated Jason, and took control of Saba. Zordon did try to talk Tommy down, but he responded by saying his name isn't Tommy. And after chronally poisoning Zordon, Tommy detaches Zordon from time and space, sending him into a void just like the Zordon from the main universe at the start of this issue. This results in the two Zordons meeting each other, allowing the two of them to compare notes. We see images of the battle against Rita's forces, which were kind of shown previously. But we now also see Trini holding Billy in her arms after he was killed, and she has his morpher in her hands, corresponding to what was revealed in the last issue. As the Drakon universe Zordon begins to fade away, he sees Billy and Tommy from the main universe arrive, so he can see into the future. Knowing that the main Zordon's Rangers will arrive, the dying Zordon fades away, telling the main Zordon to trust in his Power Rangers and his beliefs. And with that, the Drakon universe Zordon disappears. Main Zordon now floats in the void alone, but then a voice starts calling out to him and is seemingly held in place by some force. It was Saba who found Zordon and tethered him to that plane. However, he realizes that this Zordon isn't the one he knows. This Saba was trying to locate his Zordon, but was just too late. He asks this Zordon if he believes in Tommy. He says yes, and so Saba also believes in him. So then we see Zack fighting Drakon on top of the Lion Thunder Zord. Even though Drakon manages to take Zack's morpher, Zack was able to knock him away, and at this moment, Saba leaves, passing on Zordon's message, and this is where we learn how Saba knew Rangers would arrive to save the world. So when Tommy and Billy arrived in this Zack's universe, he probably had an idea that these two were the ones Saba was talking about. So this brings us to the end of this issue. Now, it was an interesting issue seeing what happened to Zordon and how he was able to briefly communicate with the other Zordon. It was nice seeing some of the gaps filled, like how Saba knew help would arrive. and because of the time travel involved, Zordon from the main universe had already put a plan into motion in Dracon's universe, resulting in Zack building up the forces. I was looking forward to finding out what Billy does following on from the end of issue 14. We should find out in the next issue when we return to the main storyline.